What's up, YouTube? This is MathWiz97, and welcome to episode number 20 of my career in WWE 2K16. It's been a little while since the last episode, and I do apologize for that, but we're back on the grind and making his way into the NXT arena following his loss to Kevin Owens, the NXT champion, at the previous NXT arrival. It is... Oh, wait a minute! What the hell? That is Kalisto, and Kalisto blindsiding Zero from behind! What has gotten into Kalisto? Zero just trying to make his way down to the ring, and his former rival Kalisto... This isn't something I would expect out of Kalisto. Usually Kalisto, he's all about going... He's usually a pretty respectful competitor, goes about things in the ring, settling his business there. But no, tonight he's out here attacking Zero. This isn't even a match. This is just a flat-out assault by Kalisto. Oh, what a knee right to the face. Amazing he didn't break those sunglasses of Zero. That could have been devastating.
Please welcome my guest tonight. Let's talk about Kalisto. He ambushed you tonight during your own match. Have anything to share on that?
I know what he's trying to do, and it's not going to work. I'm a professional. He can't get me off my game. I tell you what, if he wants to come at me, then let's do this in the ring in a sanctioned match. We'll see what he's really about.
There you have it. Back to you, Cole.
Well, welcome back now as Zero set to go one-on-one with Adam Rose on a completely different episode of NXT. I mean, Kalisto. Wow, who would have thought it? Definitely not what I was expecting. I was, to be honest, I do apologize for the lack of videos with career mode, but something like that just, it was a bit, I don't know, not only was I putting in work with Night of Champions, but I don't know, I'm not really feeling the whole career mode as much as I was in the beginning. I think we are nearing the point where this series is starting to wind down. We have maybe 10 episodes left. I'd really like to end the series by winning the NXT Championship. Originally I was thinking maybe, well, we could win the NXT Championship and defend it a couple times until, theoretically Zero would have, that would be the point where he'd be called up to the main roster. I don't really want to go to the main roster. I have made that decision. We're just going to keep it here in NXT. I mean, it's already March. Well, actually, this video should be up February 29th because it is a leap. Hallelujah. I don't know. But, yes, this is the 20th episode of the series, and I feel like I don't want to go really past much more than 30. It just kind of, this career mode, it doesn't seem to be any better than last year's career mode. I mean, it's a little better. You have slight control over what you're doing, but ultimately there's still, I don't know, it's just not my cup of tea. It doesn't interest me this year. Well, maybe I'll hold off and try again next year, or maybe next year I just won't even bother. We'll see. I know a lot of people like this career mode series, which is why I'm still making the videos, although it's not as popular as my universe mode, and I don't enjoy it as much as my universe mode. But I'm having fun, making the videos for this, but when I'm actually playing the matches, playing career mode, it's kind of unmotivating, the certain things that have been going down. I was trying to sort of set up a storyline with Baron Corbin, and when it gave me the option to really choose who did I want my rival to be, Baron Corbin wasn't in a match, so I couldn't choose him, so I just was going to go ahead and play through the match that was scheduled. And unfortunately, the game gave me Kalisto. Not entirely happy about that, but, it could still work. Could still work, because, I mean, last time Kalisto and Zero faced off, Zero was... I feel as though Zero's had a bit of a change of heart since his rivalry with Kevin Owens. I think the fans are starting to embrace Zero just a little bit more now that he went up against, the big bad villain that is Kevin Owens. As Zero off the ropes, drop kick to the side of the head of Adam Rose. But this little rivalry that seems to have begun between Zero and Kalisto, it's definitely an opportunity for Zero to sort of overcome his previous demons. That whole villainous sort of no craps given. I don't even know what I'm saying. No nonsense attitude that Zero had in the past, where he really didn't care what the fans thought, he would go out there and do whatever it took to win. But I feel as though since his match with Kevin Owens, since his rivalry with Kevin Owens, he's really started to look at things a bit differently. And he's sort of had to question his own career, really question his own, everything that he's done up to this point. But Zero now with the chicken wing gutbuster. I can't believe I just spaced out there for a second. And now Adam Rose trying to get back to his feet. Zero, this is it. The kick to the gut. And he hooks the arms, spins him around, lifts Adam Rose up, and down for ground. Zero. And that's going to do it, folks. Zero, if he can just go for the pin, this match is over. 1, 2, 3. This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is what I'm talking about. So yeah, we're just gonna fast forward here a little bit. Gonna go ahead and skip through all this because really that should have been the end of the match, but because it's career mode, because you're in NXT and you have the lower overall, the lower stats, it doesn't work. Which makes sense from like a gameplay perspective, but in terms of storytelling, which is, my matches, I try to focus more on driving each match by a story. But then when you have people kicking out of finishers like that never happens in NXT. That happens on the main roster, so it's kind of disheartening to see that every match people are kicking out of Zero's finisher. But there you have it. Zero did win the match anyway, like he should have, off of ground zero. But yeah, Zero, now he has an opportunity to really overcome the demons of his past, and they have taken the form of Kalisto. So Zero, that victory of him helps him get back on the winning track, try to recover his thoughts after the loss to Kevin Owens, and then being assaulted by Kalisto. Hopefully after that victory, Zero can get a bit more of a boost to his confidence.
Welcome back to the show. This is my guest tonight. Let's talk about Kalisto. You will square off with him at the next pay-per-view. Thoughts on that matchup?
It's going to be a tough match, that's for sure. But that's what I'm all about. I come through in the toughest of situations, and at the pay-per-view, it's no different. I'm going in there, going to grind out a victory, and do it in style.
There you have it. Back to you guys.
Well, there you go. It is now official. Kalisto versus Zero for the next NXT arrival. Yep, it's happened, folks. And Kalisto, interesting to see how the NXT universe will take this turn of affairs. Because you think about it from Kalisto's perspective, think of all the terrible stuff that Zero did to Kalisto in the past. I mean, previously it was Zero blindsiding Kalisto before his matches. Zero utilizing the underhanded tactics to defeat Kalisto. But in the end, it was Zero who picked up a clean victory over Kalisto at NXT Arrival without any shenanigans. So I'm not sure exactly who the NXT universe is going to get behind here. I would think, though, Kalisto, it seems as though he's perhaps turning a new leaf, as it were. And speaking of new, we have 1/3 of the New Day, the former NXT alumni. It is Xavier Woods making his way into the NXT arena here in Full Sail University. As Xavier Woods making his way down to the ring to take on Kalisto here. It's good to see Xavier Woods back in NXT. I mean, Xavier Woods, he's had some good times in NXT, but since moving to the main roster, really struck it big as a member of the New Day. But now tonight he comes back to his roots, comes back to where his career began, here in the WWE. And tonight we'll see if Kalisto is up for the task of taking on Xavier Woods. But as for this career mode series, I'm thinking once Zero wins the NXT title, we're going to call it there. I mean, I really don't think... I'm not really in the mood for keeping this series going too much longer. I still have GM mode that I got to wrap up as well. And then Universe mode, I really want to put focus towards that. And just lately, I haven't had a ton of free time, and I haven't really been in the greatest mood. Just not being able to upload videos has kind of made me unmotivated, as well as other things that have been going on in my personal life. I mean, nothing's really been bad. I'm just kind of in... I don't know. I'm just not really feeling it. But now that I got Night of Champions up, I feel like that's a weight off my shoulders. I had been... 2 weeks without a video really was... it wasn't planned at all. That I had any time to do commentaries. And when I did, I put it towards Night of Champions so I could get that video up. So I do apologize if you're a fan of the career mode or a fan of the GM mode that there hasn't been an episode in quite some time. But we're getting back on now. We're getting back there. We're getting back on the YouTube grind, as we've got a couple of career modes lined up for you. And then GM mode, there should be a video coming up fairly shortly as well. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And as well, Universe mode. Hopefully going to get back on a regular schedule now that we've got your regularly scheduled programming on its way. Kalisto the cover, and check out Xavier Woods. So Kalisto and Zero set to go one-on-one in a rematch at NXT Arrival. And I feel as though the build-up for this one isn't going to be... it's going to be a bit shorter in comparison to... Wait a minute. Oh, look at Kalisto! Kalisto with a nice head scissor and a kip-up! You can see Kalisto, that's the type of unique offense he brings to the table. This man is a human pinball. He uses his own body as a weapon, and he can pull off moves in that ring that you've never even seen before. Moves you've never even thought were possible before. But I feel like the build-up for this NXT Arrival isn't going to be quite as long as the previous ones. I mean, to be honest, we've seen this before, Kalisto versus Zero. It's a bit different, a unique sort of twist this time around that Kalisto is the one who really instigated this rivalry. And by this point, Zero's in a different place as well. I mean, previously he was coming off of that questionable victory over Tyler Breeze. Hadn't really established himself as an NXT superstar. But by now, Zero, he's established himself, he's up in the main event, and now it's Kalisto who really could perhaps be the underdog in this situation, despite the fact that he is the veteran. I mean, Kalisto, he's got to come back to get that victory over Zero. I mean, at the previous NXT Arrival, Zero came out on top, so Kalisto's now working from behind. But he can't afford to get too focused on Zero. He's got to pay close attention to Xavier Woods here tonight. Otherwise, Kalisto could very well end up losing this matchup. And Kalisto, he could use all the momentum he can get. And the same goes for Zero. Neither man can really afford a loss in this situation. Let's look at Kalisto. Kalisto with the arm drag. And down goes Xavier Woods. Now Kalisto to the top rope. He's looking to fight. Look at this, a 630 senton. What athleticism. The cover. Hooks the leg. No, a kick out by Xavier Woods at 2. What a move that was by Kalisto. Really utilizing that high of his. And now a huge kick to the face of Xavier Woods. Kalisto is just on fire right now. Perhaps in the best shape of his career. And now look at this. Setting up Xavier Woods. Salida del Sol. And Kalisto hooks both legs. 1, 2, 3. Kalisto scores the victory over Xavier Woods here tonight on NXT. Big victory there for Kalisto. Much needed momentum heading into the NXT Arrival matchup with Zero. And that's going to be it for this episode of NXT. I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure to stay tuned for the next one. And until that time comes, as I always say, keep on YouTubing.